We are floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show, where we're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Commander Drew Brown. My wingman, my friend, the guy who always watches my six, is my main man, Dr. Paul Thompson. How are you, Brother Paul?
Commander Drew, I'm doing very, very well. You look like you're chipper and spry and ready to go. Looks like we both like water backgrounds.
Yes, how about that? We're both on Miami Beach, I think.
I think so.
All right. Well, let's start this puppy off with a quote. You know, we love to do that. How about this one? As soon as you feel too old to do a thing, do it. That's by Margaret Deland. As soon as you feel too old to do a thing, do it. And I could not agree more. You know, I thought I was getting too old to go gorilla trekking because I want to be with the gorillas. And guess what? I am going to go this year to go be with the gorillas. I am not too old. I am going to do it. How about that?
That would be very good. You got to send us some video of that. There's a friend of the show that would really be interested in that. So you're going to go to where are you going to go to Rwanda? I guess what?
Rwanda, yes.
Okay.
Sure are. I'm going to do that for my 25th wedding anniversary. We're going to go to do the gorilla trekking. We're going to go on a safari, and then we're going to spend 2 weeks in the Seychelles. How about that?
That's good. I heard Seychelles was nice. I did a safari one time. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Well, good, good. I'm glad. So I'm excited about doing that. All right. The name of this show today is You Get What You Pay For, especially cruising the high seas. Well, let me just tell you about getting what you pay for because there are no sales. You know, if you buy a dress for half price, that's all it was worth in the first place. But, you know, my dad told me a long time ago when you buy pots, buy one good pot. Don't buy these sets of pots for 39 and 49 and $9 because you'll wind up buying 10 of them. Just buy one good pot at a time and you'll have it forever. What do you think about getting what you pay for?
Well, that's true. That's true. A lot of times we try to go bargain basement and try to get a deal. You may get a deal for a second, but in the end, you may end up spending more because the thing broke. You got to get a second one. There's no return, no this, no that. And I'm big on not relying on cheap plastic crap, as I call it. Cheap plastic stuff. I know it's going to break. Some things are good, but a lot of these things you see on these deals on TV or whatever, they look good. You put them on it, but you know they're going to break. It's
Yeah,
I think you're right. Spend your money, put a little bit extra, especially if you're not going. Don't go overboard. I mean, have you done that? Do you find yourself going for deals and having it backfire on you?
100%. There's this company named Timu, and I used a whole bunch of stuff from it because it was so cheap, and all of it is broken now. So, yes, cheap doesn't work. And Dr. Paul, especially on our carriers, you get what you pay for. You were on the USS Saratoga, and back then it was an older ship. I was on the USS Nimitz, a brand new spanking carrier. So we always had air conditioning. The one bad thing about a nuclear is you don't have to go and refuel. So we could stay out there 12, 15 years and never go to port, which was not good for us and the sailors. But you were on the Sorry Sarah is what they called it. Tell me about your little experience. Was it so bad living on that older carrier?
Well, it was different. You had the USS Saratoga. It wasn't the Sorry Sarah. They really call it the Sinking Sarah, and that was because of an incident. Somebody left left a valve open or something, and the ship flooded, and I guess went down a little bit. They called it the Sinking Sarah, but it was an older ship. Uh, the water system was not the greatest. It's probably different now. Tell me, you're the Nimitz. I think you could had a desalination plant. Couldn't they turn seawater into fresh water?
Yes, we could. And
Okay.
while you're talking about our water, because we were a nuclear carrier, we had nuclear hot water, and I'm sorry to say, one of the accidents on the ship is a cold water line broke, and somebody was in the shower, and all they got was hot water. And I'm sorry to say got burnt very badly. I don't think they made it, but that was a horrible incident on the Nimitz. But now I got to tell you about your little sorry Sarah. You said it's a sinking Sarah. Well, the rest of the fleet called it the sorry Sarah, just to
Okay.
let you know.
Okay, well, maybe if you don't mind, I give you another water story that is not a little more pleasant, had a different outcome. When they designed that ship, apparently the freshwater storage system and the storage system for jet fuel were pretty close together. And there was some kind of a cross feed arrangement they had. Long story short, it was a time when the jet fuel leaked into the fresh water. And they
Uh,
said, okay, nobody drink water. Well, think about that for a second. For how long? This is for some days. You got to drink some water. It's 100 and a million degrees in the summer in the Mediterranean because when you got sun shining on a steel deck, it gets really hot. Everything is hot. Not the greatest air conditioning. So everything's made. Bread is made with water. And I remember looking at it one time, looking at some ice cubes and vapor coming off the ice cubes, like it's like a magic show. And I said, "Should we be doing this? Everything." So maybe that's why I'm kinda crazy now. But for about 3 days, that was true.
oh my God. Do you think that's why you're a little bit crazy? That's why you're so fast, maybe because you were drinking jet fuel. But let me ask you this. It's not just on carriers that you get what you pay for. Cruise ships, how about that? I love Virgin Voyages, and a little bit more expensive than other cruise lines. It's not the highest, but you get what you pay for on a cruise line. Now, this is how I think about cruise lines. It's all about how much you pay per day. So, if you have a cruise line that you have to pay 100 to 200 to $300 a day, that's the kind of people that are going to be on that cruise line. That's the kind of service you're gonna get, and you get what you pay for. My cruise line, the Virgin, they cost 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 a day. And then they have the high class, the Hootsie Tootsie cruise lines that are 1,000 to 1,500 a day. And I don't like all that. That you get a butler and you got this and that. I don't think those kind of people are my kind of people. I'd rather be with the people. And on Virgin Voyages, I'm with the people. But on those cheaper cruise lines, man, you got a lot of people, Dr. Paul, who don't respect other passengers. And there's a lot of problems happening on the lower end cruise lines. You saw some video you showed me.
Yeah, yeah, I got some video from a friend of the show, known as the Great Grand Ayatollah. Yeah, he sent some, and it was kinda shocking. Now, I know you've never seen anything like that, and I know you have a little history on Frontier Airlines, so I don't think you didn't see any of that kinda stuff on Virgin Voyage. You behave yourself, don't you?
Yeah, I can't believe you just said that. Yes, you brought back bad memories. On the Frontier Airlines, when we got kicked off the flight because one of the flight attendants was from the ghetto. Yeah, I remember that. And I'm sorry to say that I will not be flying that airline anymore, but you get what you pay for. Delta's more expensive and you get better service on Delta. That's it. That's how life works. You get what you pay for. That's why all that little shit that I bought on Timu work now.
Yeah,
What do
Temu.
you
Yeah.
think?
I got a Temu thing, and here's an example. Someone's trying to do a favor for me. Wife got an extension on a pressure washer to wash high windows. Got it on Temu, and it costs nothing. You put all this stuff together. There's no way I'm not strong enough to hold that. It would take like 4 firemen, Shaquille O'Neal, and Will Chamberlain to hold that thing steady. There's no possible way. It was cheap, it didn't work. I think I donated it or something like that. So, I almost
Yeah,
got
and
hurt.
Paul, I'm sorry to say, as you age, you get wiser, and when you're younger, this doesn't make much sense. You get what you pay for. Get the cheapest thing you can because you can afford it. Well, that's not true. Now, let's go past that. So everybody out there, you need to know you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. That's just the bottom line. But how about our update? Last week we talked about flying. You and I, during work this week, we were talking about it. Dr. Paul, when flying cars become available, I'm sorry to say we both have figured out you're not going to be flying them. It's going to be autonomous. There's no way in hell are they going to let all these vehicles up in the sky without regulations. And you think all these people are going to get pilot licenses? I don't think so. I think all your flying, your Jetson type cars will all be autonomous. They'll all be done by a computer. What do you think about that, Dr.
Yeah,
Paul?
I think they have to be because more than likely it might be like one of these futuristic things you see in the cartoons. They'll have like lanes of traffic just vertically, So who's going to sequence that? Height and width. So you may have things passing within inches of each other, not thousands of feet, be inches, so you can crowd them together. And no, no, you're not gonna be able to handle that.
No, no way. Guess what, Dr. Paul? We have a special guest we're going to introduce on this show. And boy, I think he might be a permanent member of our show.
Is
But
it a he?
Paul,
Is it a he?
say that again.
You sure it's a he?
Yes, that's
Okay,
he.
okay, so I make sure.
All right. All right. How about some good news? That's what this show's about. What if I told you San Jose, there was a dry cleaner. His name is Ali Shirkhodel, and he's an immigrant from Iran. He came here. He had a doctorate, I think, in physics, but he could not find a job there. But he opened up a dry cleaner. Dr. Paul, this guy now, what he said something. He said he always fulfilled, he had a dream, a long held ambition to infuse his career with acts of kindness, just to pay it forward. What people have done for him. Guess what? He has come up with a system that if you're looking for a job and you're going on a job interview, he'll dry clean and press your clothes for free for that job interview. Now, how can you beat that? That is such a good thing to do, Paul.
Yeah, yeah, that's a wonderful thing to do. Because I see people, sometimes in not the best of circumstances. Now, how do you do that? Some don't have addresses, and they don't have the basics of things. So, washing up and cleaning up might be something, maybe a bridge too far. I don't does it say how many people that he's helped?
No, it didn't say how many, but he's helped. I think 3 or 4 a week. But one person came in, got her blouse pressed and everything, and she got the job. And Ali said that when she came back to tell everybody, the people in his shop, the people at the cleaners, were 10 times more excited than the. So I think doing a good thing just makes everybody happy.
Yeah, I agree. Kudos to him. That's helping out folks that really need a helping hand. You never know. Maybe they'll pay it forward and do something good for somebody else.
Well, that's what he asked them to do. They said, "What? How can I repay you?" And all he said was just pay it forward. All right, everybody, check out those badass jets we got behind us. And Dr. Paul's jet is a real airplane. What kind of airplane is that, P?
That's a Blue Angel F-18 going across the beach. That's an actual photograph. That's not an AI rendering. That's an actual photograph.
It
There you go.
is. So
Yeah.
what about mine? I have an A6 flying across Miami Beach full of bombs. But guess what? I told AI to draw a picture because you had a beach. I wanted a beach. So this is the airplane that it for me. But Dr. Paul, you saw a couple of things on this plane that doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah, on the nose gear, the nose gear is down and the launch bar is there. The nose gear should be up unless you got a major problem, it wouldn't retract. You know what that launch bar is for? We haven't talked about that launch bar. It's that white thing that's kind of sticking up in front of the
Right in
nose.
front of the nose wheel. Yeah, tell me, what does that do?
Yeah, that's the part that latches into the shuttle on an aircraft carrier that connects the catapult to the airplane, and it pulls that launch bar and the airplane and shoots it off the end in 2 seconds.
Yeah, and they have a little metal piece. I have one of mine. I forgot what it's called, but it breaks on the pressure, and that's what shoots you off. What is that piece called again, Paul?
Oh, let's see. It launches into the shuttle.
Yeah, but there's a little piece, there's a metal piece that
Oh,
snaps.
I'm thinking, is it the holdback? Nick?
Yeah, the whole back fitting, that's exactly what
Holdback
it is.
fitting. Yeah, holdback fitting that keeps it.
Yeah, and I actually have one. Maybe we'll show a picture of it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Everybody out there, thank you so much for supporting the Wingman Show. We truly appreciate it. We truly appreciate you listening to us on Apple Podcasts or watching us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Thank you so, so much for all of your support, all of your thumbs up, all of your 4-star, 5-star reviews. We really do appreciate it. And we have a website. That website is wingmanshow.com. That's WINGMENSHOW.com, wingmanshow.com. And on that website, we have a newsletter. And this newsletter this week, oh, it's a good one. How to find good deals on houses, cars, and everything else. But guess what? Now I'm going to introduce to you somebody who wrote the newsletter. It's our new member of the Wingman Show, and his name is Ace. Ace, powered by ChatGPT. But Dr. Paul, tell me what an ace is, because we gave him this name. What does ace mean?
Generally, in aviation circles, an ace is someone that has shot down five or more enemy aircraft. You become an ace. You
Well,
become
let me ask you this. What better wingman would you want in your life than an ace?
That's a great wingman. That's someone with experience and knows what they're doing. Maybe protect it, do the mission and protect you too.
Yes. Well, welcome, Ace. And Ace wrote that newsletter, and I think you'll really like it. Also, on that website, we have a frequent flow line, and that's where you guys out there can write Dr. Paul and myself a letter, and we will try to get to it on the show. Well, we got a good one this week. It's a 64-year-old man from Trenton, New Jersey. How do you balance staying physically and mentally fit as you get older? And what tips do you have for others who want to do the same? Dr. Paul, why don't you take that first?
Okay, well, hello from Trenton. Thanks for asking the question. To answer your question, what I do personally, I makes physical fitness something I try to do every day or at minimum, every other day. In fact, I did a nice little workout, reasonable workout just before this taping. You don't have to, yeah, I used to do things for 2 hours and long time. That doesn't make a lot of sense anymore, particularly as you get older, you can hurt yourself. So what I do is I try to do things in 45-minute increments, maybe maybe an hour, that's including rest, but just do something regularly in terms of stimulating your mind, have a hobby, do a podcast, do some writing, do some reading. Just don't sit around watching TV all day, watching Gunsmoke or whatever popular thing you want to look at. Yeah, keep doing something other than looking at flat screens. Yeah, I'm in front of a computer a lot, probably a little too much, but I try to vary it with something, try to do something different. I'm going to pick up a guitar this afternoon. It's been sitting behind me for about 6 months that I started to play with just to get back into it. So challenge yourself.
That's an excellent answer, Dr. Paul. Myself, I'm going to live to 100 years old. That's my plan. And I'm not going to die at 100. At 100, bonus years kick in. But you just can't talk it. You just can't say those things. You actually have to do something about it. And so I remember watching a documentary called The Blue Zone. And this is the places all over the world where the most 100-year-old people live. And so I listened to it. And they all have 4 things in common. And the 4 things that all of people who live to be 100 and older have in common is, number 1, they move their body. Just like Dr. Paul said, I also worked out this morning. Katrina and I worked out. So you have to keep your body moving. The second thing you have to do is you have to eat well. You cannot keep putting garbage into your body. You can't piss in a Rolls Royce tank and expect it to. That's not how this works. You have to start putting good food into your body. The third thing you have to do is have a small, good circle of friends and family, which I have. And Dr. Paul's one of my people in my circle. And the fourth thing is you have to have purpose. You have to have purpose. So the Wingman Show right now is my purpose because I was in the Navy. I have a family. I retired from and now I'm living my life. But living my life, I still have to work on me. So those are very important things for me to stay alive because that's what I want to do. And I also do something else for my mind now. You know, when I was 14, I lived in Israel and I learned how to speak Hebrew. Well, now I'm back on Duolingo. Just every day I do a little Hebrew lesson, and that's just exercising my mind. And I think that that's real important. But thank you so much for asking that question. And I hope people who can hear us will follow along and you can meet me at 100 years old. So when the bonus years kick in, I can say hello to you. All right, everybody. You know what that brings me to? That brings me to Wingman PSA. From the 11 Facts in Life, under fact number 9, develop self discipline. Fact number 9, develop self discipline. That's one of the big ones there, Dr. Paul, because, you know, both you and I went to AOCS, which is Aviation Officer Candidate School in Pensacola. That's how we became Navy pilots. And I was in the best shape of my life when I left that place, except it wasn't because of me. It was because of Gunnery Sergeant Clark, who made me work my ass off. But now Gunnery Sergeant Clark isn't here this morning for me to I had to start with discipline, but I had to put it on myself. So, self discipline, what you eat, what you read, what you think, those are all things that are self discipline. Somebody's not telling you. You know, when you go to school, the teacher teaches you things. Well, as you get older, you want to learn things. You have to go out there and learn them. That's discipline. Tell me about your self discipline because I'm serious, Dr. Paul. You have good self-discipline, I must say.
Well, it's like you say, it's consistency. The working out is part of it. Some people look at me and say, "What are you doing all that for?" Well, I'm trying to be like you, trying to make it to 100 and bonus years and all those other things. But, I'm a little, more mindful of, the level that I do things. But, just being consistent, not just talking about it, but just doing it routinely and really doing it sometimes when you really don't want to do it, but it needs to be done. So, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it anyway. I think that's the example. Make those hard choices every once in a while. It'll pay off.
That's great. Well, now comes our new guy, Ace. Boy, do I love Ace. And you know, we have this section in our show called The Gouge. And what is the gouge? Well, in the Navy, the gouge is shit you need to know, but sometimes nobody tells you. Well, we have the gouge section, and it is powered by Ace from ChatGPT. And today's question is, what are the degrees with the best and worst job prospects? What degrees can you get with the best and the worst job prospects? And I'm going to go to you, Dr. Paul, so you could tell us the best degrees to get.
Number one is computer science and engineering. Computer science and engineering. Roles of software development, AI. AI is a big deal. They're in high demand. Medium salaries between 150 and $130,000. Big time engineering degrees or any engineering degree is good. These are hard things to do, so they pay better. Another one is nursing and healthcare. People are always going to be sick. They're always going to need healthcare at any age, young and old. So that's continuous employment. Another one is data science and analytics, and again in AI. Do you hear? Do you listen to these guys that talk about statistics in terms of sports? The analytic people.
Oh, yeah, they turned the entire sports thing into analytics.
Yeah, well, I'm reading a book on baseball right now, and that's a big part of getting a job in Major League Baseball, and I guess probably all the sports. You need to know something about analytics, which
Wow.
means you need to know something about math. For another one is cybersecurity. We talk about engineering, finance, environmental sciences are big. Physical therapy, education and teaching is lower down on the list. Of course, that'll be important, but you'll probably need to know how to do that with AI.
Very good.
Who'd have thought?
Well, how about I give you some of the degrees with the toughest job prospects? You get these degrees, it's going to be a little bit harder to find a job. The first one is fine and performing arts, I'm sorry to say, studio art, music, theater, dance. The unemployment rates are pretty high for those people with degrees like that, and the average salaries start off at 30 to 40,000. The next one, philosophy, religious studies, and theology. That's a hard one to get a job with, and their mid-career salaries are a little bit under 70,000. Number three, anthropology, archaeology, art history, and languages. The fourth one is liberal arts, creative writing, and communications. Number five, early childhood education and social services. Their medium salaries around 40 to 50,000. And the sixth one is travel and tourism, hospitality. But I do want to say something that I kept reading this, and something very, very interesting came up. Dr. Paul, do you know entry level roles in computer sciences and engineering have really been heavily affected by AI? That means that it's not easy to get an entry level job in computer science and engineering because people are going to people like Ace, that chat GPT, and getting the answers instead of people. Isn't that something?
Yeah, that's true. And in particular in computer science, I think they're taking it in the shorts, pretty hard right now. So that's tough, but this AI has just jumped on everybody in the world really quickly, and it's evolving, while we're speaking.
And no doubt about it. And the reason that we brought Ace to our show is because ChatGPT has changed the way I do things now. Dr. Paul has been using it for a while. I didn't realize. I know he told me, but I didn't pay attention. Well, now I'm paying attention because it's helped me write a script for my father's book. Bundini Brown trained Ali. Well,
Uh-huh.
now AI is doing so much stuff for me. When I have a question, I was in Lowe's the other day and I had to get a weed killer sprayer. And I had the two that I thought were good. I asked ChatGPT. It told me exactly what I needed. I went and bought it, and that was it. So, Ace, we love having you here on the Wingman Show. Thanks for coming along, and we're going to be using you a lot. Well, the name of our show is called The Wingman Show because we always highlight people who have saved other people or who help other people, just like that dry cleaner guy, Ali. Well, Dr. Paul now has our Wingman of the Week. Dr. Paul, take it away.
Yes, our wingman of the week is a teenager. This is a good story about a youthful person that did something really, really good, who is a wingman and literally a lifesaver. Our wingman this week is named Jacob Thompson with a K, Jacob, Jacob Thompson. No relation as far as I know, but if he was, that would be fine. Jacob Thompson did something extremely heroic. This takes us to Lantana, Florida, which is a little bit, it was north of Miami Beach, actually. And there's an area called the Boynton Beach Inlet. I guess it connects the inland waterway with the Atlantic Ocean. He was just walking down the pier and he spotted this woman in distress in the middle of the inlet.
Mm,
She was going under. He just, without hesitation, he just leaps into the water. We've got pictures and video of it. He just leaps into the water, swims about 80 feet to get her, rescues her, picks her up, brings her to the shore. He said that she was exhausted. She was fighting the current, fighting everything, but fortunately, she didn't fight him. As you said, sometimes when people get rescued and they're trying to stay alive, they'll be battling the rescuer. But she just relaxed, and that allowed him to concentrate on his strokes, and he got her to shore. And for his heroism, he was actually awarded the Aiden Perry Good Samaritan Scholarship. And Aiden Perry was a young man who lost his life while he was trying to save someone from a sinking car. His mother administers this fund, and she thought Jacob Thompson was very, very deserving, and she actually, gave him a medal. In addition, the local fire department celebrated him because he wants to become a an EMT and join the fire department.
hmm
So basically, this scholarship fund's going to pay for it, and they welcomed him in, and they said, he'll make a great one. In addition, he got something else. He got something called the Carnegie Award. Dale Carnegie was the steel magnate in Pittsburgh many years ago. and left all kinds of stuff around. But anyway, there's a Carnegie Award, and that goes to a heroic person who does something, who risks their lives to save someone else. So Jacob Thompson is a wingman, a hero, a lifeguard, everything. Very, studious, quiet young man, kind of self-effacing, not looking for the limelight, but he did something very, very courageous.
Wow, that's a great wingman. And when we were talking about this story right here, I was thinking you have to be very, very careful if you jump into the water after a drowning person, because that drowning person will grab you and will bring you down with them because they're scared to death. So, just a little note, if you ever do go for somebody, first of all, have a flotation device with you. But next, always grab them from behind. Do not go right in front of them because they will pull you down. If you can get behind them, then maybe they can't grab you. Well, that's a great, great wingman. Everybody out there, thank you so much for watching and listening to the Wingman Show. We truly appreciate it. And anything out there that you think is important, and anything out there that you think is beautiful, and most importantly, anything that makes you happy, may you have that today and forever. I pray for peace.
I pray for peace too, Commander Drew, and we appreciate all those who listen, like, and share our message. Those who ask questions on the frequent flow line, keep those questions coming in. We'll answer them as best we can. Take care of yourselves, and thank you for your support.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it, just press it gently and use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth and goodwill towards all men and women.